welcome back.
Hey.
Now, we're about to be blessed in the studio because we have Bishop, activist, actor, and entrepreneur, Bishop Kevin Adams. Man, welcome inside this, my brother.
Welcome,
And
welcome.
It's an honor. Glad to be here.
Man, much love, man. So, Bishop, you've been making the rounds lately. How long have you been in ministry? And how did you know that this is what your calling was? Because some people run from it.
Big time, big time. Well, I've been preaching for 50 years, ever since I was an 8-year-old boy. Just felt an unction from God, that was my passion, that was my purpose. Didn't hear no audible voice, God speaking in the house saying, go preach. But I've always felt that unction, and I've been pastoring now for 35 years.
Wow.
Wow,
Yes.
that's amazing. Yeah. Now, for those of you who may not know, where is your church located?
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Chattanooga, with a choo-choo up there, right?
Choo-choo, Lookout Mountain.
And what's the name of the church? Because, like, you know, sometimes it'd be like, you know, like there's like 1,000 First Baptists, you know, like, is it a name that's easy to, like, for people to Google to pull up on?
It is Olivet Baptist Church or either Olivet Nation.
Okay.
Olivet Nation, yeah.
Very
Now,
cool.
what about for the people that don't live in Chattanooga? Is there a way to, like, live stream it in real time, too?
Yeah, we're on all social media platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, www.obcministries.org.
Okay.
obcministries.org.
Yeah.
Got it.
Meeting the people where they at. Now, you're also an actor. And what type of acting genres do you prefer in that thespian space? Because, you know, sometimes people will try to pull you out your comfort zone, have you do something that's against your faith. You know, so what do you prefer in that lane?
I'm that dude who's always playing the role of a preacher.
Very
Do you
good.
feel typecast?
Yes. No. Well, I think it's a safe place to be, so I don't get out of, you know, I don't compromise and I don't get out of, you know, what God has really called me to do. So I'm happy when they call me to play a preacher or either a counselor.
Okay, but let me ask you something. Let me put you in the hot seat. Like, okay, they say, "Hey, Pastor, we want you to come play preacher." Okay, great, I know that. But then this preacher also at night takes matters into his own hands, and
He's a vigilante preacher.
he's a vigilante. He's a vigilante preacher. But then he asks for forgiveness. But he has to ask for forgiveness like every week.
Good Lord. I've thought about that. Actually, years ago, there was a script presented to me about this pastor, and at night he would go out and be like a mercenary and all that. And I says, I don't know if I can do that and then show back up on Sunday and preach. I don't think nobody would listen.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Now, you know, what if you had to be Halle Berry's husband in a movie, right? And it was maybe like a lovemaking scene, but it was tastefully done, like how they do it on the soaps.
Did you say Halle Berry?
Yeah.
And remember, it's just pretend.
And just pretend. Can I pass on that? No. Again, it would. I think it would compromise, you know, my position, my standard as a pastor. And again, nobody's gonna listen to me after that. They're gonna only remember that scene.
I would definitely show up. I'll be like, that's my man.
You would?
You'd be surprised. Now,
Listen, you've got me in the front row going amen after that. Right? You know?
I'm gonna give you a tithe and a high five. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my
He's
guy.
a man.
Oh, okay. You're also an author, and you have a book called Change from Jacob to Israel. Tell us about the book.
And God gave me that book, Change. Many times we're expecting what we won't become ourselves. If you want change begins with you. It's not the flowers, the trees, or the grass to change the season. But when the season changes, it demands a change in the flowers, the trees, and the grass. So what I learned from that is if you want change, you change, and everybody else has to adapt to the change in you.
Oh, wow.
Man, you gotta say that a little louder for people in the back. One more time.
It's not the flowers, the trees, or the grass that actually change a season, but when the season goes from winter to fall, it demands a change in the flowers, the trees, and the grass. So a lot of times we are expecting our significant other to change, our children to change, co-workers to change, but if you change first, everybody else has to adapt to the change in you.
Oh, that's the
I had
truth
to let
right
that
there.
sizzle on the ears for a little
is
bit,
the
right?
truth.
Now, there was some controversy surrounding you when Usher brought you out to pray on stage at his latest tour here in Atlanta. For those who get a chance to see that, let's take a look.
I declare that the blood still works. And thank you that you have him covered from the top of his head to the soles of his feet. Father, many know about his music. Many know about the man, but few know about his mission, that you have called him to lead a fatherless generation. Many men, even feel a void, an emptiness, because we did not have a father in our life growing up. But this mission is to lead us to the Father's love. Many young women who still search for love because they feel like they have never experienced love. This mission is to
This app will probably get banned at your school. Instead of just giving you the answer, this app will break down your entire question, make sure you understand what you're actually looking at. This app covers subjects like the CIA covers up loose ends. You want to find out why the Pope ordered a purge on black cats? Done. You want to know what the answer to that is? Done. There's also a whole bunch of other features to help you study. If you don't want to be doing schoolwork like you're working a 9 to 5, check out the link in my bio.
Real Short. Stream drama and TV. Download today and get started.
And that was a special moment. Now, people were saying that this could have been done backstage in private and many other arguments, while many others defended what happened. What do you have to say about the whole situation?
Most of the flack I received came from the church, surprisingly.
Oh.
It was not from those outside of the church. And he just wanted, you know, he had to counsel some shows, and all of a sudden he came through some things, and he just wanted to really celebrate God for bringing him through it. And we've been close for a lot of years, and so it asked me to come on stage and to pray for him and to consecrate that moment, and I did it and got my tail whooped for it.
Well, if I could ask you, that's honestly, I not the response I sort of expected. What were the complaints from the people in your church, and how did you handle that? How did you respond?
It was hard because people in the church was actually like, you're not supposed to be at a concert, not supposed to be praying for Usher. And I'm like, are we supposed to just pray for people in the church?
Sure.
I thought, you know, that was our calling to go outside of the four walls of the church. The Lord never called us to be a keeper of aquarium, just a church with fishermen of men. And so it you know, it just really shocked me, but I just dealt with it by just letting it pass and letting people, you know, they have a right to their opinion, but I believe in what God called me to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting that the outcries, for a lot of times when you see somebody of the faith out in the wild doing outreach, and most of the disdain does come from within the walls of the church and the people around it. But for some people, that may be the first time that they've ever seen somebody get prayed for in that kind of way. And also for Usher to be that transparent to allow somebody to witness something like that for him, I think it broke a lot of barriers and knocked down a lot of walls, man, because, you know, I'm sure you've been in situations where maybe you've seen your congregation get older.
Yes.
And, you know, you want to bring younger people into the mix too, because, you know, you don't want to, you know, like there's so many distractions for the younger people that you want to be able to meet them where they're at. The same way Jesus did.
Exactly.
The same way he hung out with the crooks, the pimps and the prostitutes, or whatever they were called during that time.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, you got to be amongst the people who need the healing.
Exactly. And that's the whole ministry of Jesus. He hung out with tax collectors and wine bibbers, prostitutes. And so I never thought that I would just take hits for doing what Jesus did and actually trying to reach the people who need it the most.
I wish you could hang out with the tax collectors.
Jesus sounded like he was having a pretty good time. Okay, you were also in the news for a fight that broke out during one of your live streams. We're going to take a quick look at that video.
Saw his star in the east.
Turns into a brawl between two men at Olivet Baptist Church in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You can see a church member striking Assistant Pastor Chris Sands, who gets up and strikes him back.
He was looking at the scriptures as I was teaching, and somebody attacks you, so that's the human response.
He says in 32 years of holding sermons, there have been fights because they are located in a transit area, but never at this level.
It shocked, it surprised me, threw me off.
You can see Bishop Adams stepping in to stop the fight, asking the man who threw the first punch.
Wow. Okay. So, first off, I'm shocked. What was going through your mind at that time?
I was stunned. I'm up there talking about it was a Christmas service, and I'm talking about the wise man coming from the east. Marcus came from the west. And he just walks in, and that was my youth pastor and assistant pastor, Chris. Phenomenal guy. Didn't see it coming, and Marcus had some problems going on. He was up under the influence, and Marcus is a nice fellow, and he just walked in that day and politely put on a mask, and just checked through everything and walked straight into church, and just sucker punched Chris, and so. It was one of the lowest moments of ministry, but again, it's not so much as what happens to you, but how you respond.
Right.
And so I'm like, Marcus, stop. And next thing I know, the thing goes viral and interviews everywhere.
Sure.
Man, you never know what people are going through, what their tipping point. So like after that, were they able to piece it up? Are they both still active members of the church?
Well, Chris does ministry outside of all of it, phenomenal ministry. And Marcus actually came back to the church, and his mother's there, his family is there. And surprisingly enough, he didn't remember much of what had happened. He was just really so influenced and up under the influence that he didn't even remember most of the situation. But he expressed how sorry he was. So it was a serious moment, learned a lot from it.
Wow, it's the takeaway, right? Now, you're a bishop to many celebrities, including, and also just regular people as well. Is there one celeb that when you see them calling, did you have to say a quick prayer to yourself before you hit accept on the call? Like, oh man, not again, And you don't have to say the name, you can give us clues.
It's this one guy, and I would not mention, as you said, his name, but when he calls, I got to put on sackcloth, ashes, I got to put oil. It's going to be something crazy. I'm like, man, I can't even pray for that.
What is this? Okay, I'm not, and I don't want to know who this is. I'm not pushing to find out who this is, but what are the kinds of things that this person asks you for help with?
It's always something that is not aligned with the Bible. Like, for instance, why does everybody have a problem with me having a wife and having a live-in girlfriend or two? And I'm like, what? I'm like, you don't get to do that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Solomon in the Bible, he had many wives.
Yeah, but just because the Bible says it doesn't mean God condoned it. A lot of things in there to learn what not to do. And not what
Cautionary
to do.
tales.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So when he calls, I always know it's going to be a moment. So I got to pray, I got to fast, I got to get on my knees, lay out prostrate.
Man,
that's so funny. Now your latest book is called Marriage Material: The Key to Finding the Right Spouse. Oh boy, I can tell I need to read it. I'm single. What are the key takeaways that single folks like me can get from this book?
Well, I think one of the most important things, like my mother would tell me, that if you're gonna make a cake, you gotta have all the ingredients. Some people date people who don't manifest any of the ingredients, and they're expecting to get a cake. They're expecting to get a good woman, expecting to get a good man, and they start out and see all the red flags that this person doesn't possess any of the ingredients. They have none of the material. They're not loyal, they're not faithful, they don't go to work, and yet you're looking for a priest, provider, protector.
Yeah. You gotta be careful out there and carefully vet. Now, recently, TV host Joy Taylor, who is single, talked about what she feels is a red flag when it comes to dating. And let's take a listen and let's get your take.
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual. Very funny, Limu.
Staying sharp helps me train harder and smarter. That's why I've been a fan of Nariva for so many years.
On what she said.
I've had some negative experiences with people that lead with their religion.
Are you religious?
Not really.
No. So
I would say I'm a person of faith, but I'm not. I was raised in a Baptist church, very, very religious family. I don't think that just because you're a Christian that you are, not living a good life. I'm just saying, if that's the first thing that you bring to the table, it's a red flag for me because
you feel
I
like
don't
they're hiding behind their religion.
I don't care. Why? What does this matter to me?
Something happened with that before. That's what that happened.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have a trigger behind that.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
I absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm acknowledging. I'm triggered by this, and it's become a red flag for me.
Wow.
I'm not saying that if you believe in God that you are a red flag. I also don't give a fuck, so just tell somebody else about it.
Sorry, Pastor, we meant to bleep that one out.
Like, looking for a good Christian man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's your take on what she said?
That's interesting. That's interesting. Well, actually, the Bible addresses that in 2 Timothy 3:6. It says that there are a lot of men who come at women, and they actually are able to deceive them because they're vulnerable by using the title, you know, that I'm a man of God. And so she has some truth right there, but I would say I wouldn't go so far to characterize any man who says I'm a man of God that he's not, you know, an acceptable person, or he doesn't have good character, or not a potential good mate. So we got to have balance there.
Balance is key. Real quick, I just want to ask, like, you know, you pray for many, but who do you go to pray for you?
I'm accountable to bishops, pastors, myself. I'm like, I won't be, I'm determined not to be a shepherd out here bleeding in silence myself while I'm bandaging up the sheep, but I myself need a shepherd, and I need somebody to pray and cover me.
Yeah.
That's real.
Oh, that's
Thank
amazing.
you, man, so much for that
Thank you so much.
transparency.
Thank you so much
you
for
all.
stopping by. Make sure to keep up with Bishop Kevin Adams every Sunday, and both of his books today. Keep it locked right here. Also, before we let you go, where can people find you online? Where can they find your socials? And how can they keep up with your church?
Kevin Adams Ministry, Instagram, Facebook and YouTube, and get the book in, Amazon or any of the Christian bookstores, Barnes and Noble's, Books and Media. It's out there.
And we just threw your Instagram up there, and it was I am Kevin Adams, right? That's
Yes,
the
sir.
correct. Okay, great, wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Too, man.
I enjoyed
Thank you so
this.
much for, like, going out with the heathens and, and praying for the people that need to be prayed for, and doing it fearlessly with your chin up, man, for real.
Yeah, absolutely. And next time Usher comes through town, pray for him again. That's what I say. Get on stage and let him know. Hey, guys, keep it right here. We're going to be back with more Side Dish in 2 minutes.